My pleasure. I want to see that butterfly come out of that cocoon. And it's already happening. D-Biz, thanks for inviting your followers. Thank you so much. I feel I'm about 85%. So some of you know I battled a virus for about 2 days, 2.5 days. But yeah, I'm about 85, 90%. So I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Hope everyone is well tonight. Beanborn, thanks for following. Almost ate my tea bag. Yeah, I feel better. Thank you. Yeah, I do. About 85% or so. And the key was rest. I mean, just sleep if you can. Great. 4 milligrams? Yeah, stay at that number. Don't you know, I would stay there. That's a reasonable amount. That's reasonable. So for those of you that don't know who I am or don't follow me much, my name is George Kosmides. I'm a doctor, a licensed doctor of chiropractic here in the state of California, a few other states. I also teach diabetes education to doctors for their continuing education hours. I teach 12 units a month. Very exciting. I've written a couple books. My latest is Life Without Diabetes, based on my father and 2 uncles losing their lives in their 50s, actually 50s and 30s. And now I have a Lean Body 360 program that's mirrored off the program from the meal plan in here, but more focused on fat loss. So even though someone has, they're diabetic or they're type 1, they still want to eat the same way as a Lean Body 360 program. The fundamentals are all the same. They don't change. So you don't magically wake up. I know this is about weight loss, but I know you don't magically wake up and you're a type 2 diabetic. It doesn't work that way. You become unhealthy first, then you morph into pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So what are the 3 keys? Let's go through that. Hey, Lucretia. The 3 keys to dieting is, number 1, counting your calories or measuring your food from a weighing perspective is just, I call it socially unattainable. And you can't do it consistently. So it doesn't even make sense to even try. Any meal plan that borders on counting calories or you really want to avoid because you can't follow it. Does not work. Your social life goes down. I've seen couples get into, you know, battles from that standpoint because it's just too extreme. Was it sleepy or fluid you look at? Yeah, both, just both. So again, no counting or I'm going to put weighing of foods. Just don't do it. The whole key is if you eat denser nutritional foods, your body will be satisfied, it will be satiated, and the hunger cravings will go away. If you have a yeast problem, it will crave sugar, so that could be a residual problem. My God, now they have Oprah on Weight Watchers. Well, it's, you know, it's good marketing, and they must help, you know, some people, but you know, it's not reasonable in the long term. So what I like to say is I want to follow you for, you know, several years, and well, as long as you stay within the general guidelines, you'll still do well. Boot camp dieting and things like that, it's not practical, it's not reasonable. In a lot of cases, it can be unhealthy. So you want to take a step back and say, okay, what are my expected goals in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? Be more reasonable. Yeah, and they can be. So that's number 1. Number 2, exercise is overrated as far as weight loss. I know I'm getting a lot of you fitness people out there to roll your eyes, and before you check me off your list, as far as, you know, he's out there, hear me out. Exercise is important, but remember, it's a form of controlled trauma. You're traumatizing your body, and the idea is, in fact, I have a video that I put up on my Facebook that explains how muscles are built. And so what it causes is a breakdown of muscle fibers, actually damaging the muscle spindle, and the body rebuilds it a little bit better the next time if it's properly rested and properly fed. But unless it's properly rested and properly fed, the lean body protein support, that rebuild is not going to happen. So then you fall into catabolism, which is a breakdown of your muscle tissue. So you're worse off than before. You may be lighter, but your body fat may inch up a little bit. So your weight will drop and your body fat will go this way. From a clinical perspective, that's bad news. It should be in the group. It should be in the group. If not, let me know. But it's a cute little video. It's like 2 minutes long. I've heard you say you cannot overexercise. I never said, I don't think I've ever said that, but that makes sense. You can't overexercise a bad diet, no question. And it's all about a lot of work. As you get older, take that back. As you get more mature, you know, I have a family, a wife, and I teach, and I do a lot of things that I wouldn't even think of doing 10 years ago because I'm just motivated. Going to the gym isn't as important as it was 10 years ago emotionally. But body's going so comfortable if you don't force it. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. You have to just be consistent, but you have to be consistent with fundamental things. If you're not supporting your lean body mass, and that's the calculation I give you the first week, and you should get it throughout. You should have access to it throughout the program. And actually, we're putting an actual calculator in the members area. So hang on for that. We're working on that. So you can just type in your numbers. I'm just working on if I can program it for the numbers that I want you guys to focus on. Just those three. That will help. But you should still be able to do it manually. So I'm torn whether I should give you that easy out or let you manage, you know, do a math and a division calculation. It keeps us kind of sharp. And I read a research paper that says exercise outside is better than indoor. It depends on the temperature. That can go either way. I mean, if it's, you know, 5 degrees below zero, do I really want to be training outside? Probably not. Probably not. So as long as it's reasonable. Lucretia, I think I did get your email. I got several today. So if I haven't responded, I know I got your direct message. If I haven't responded, I will. Possibly, but again, it depends. If you're in China, if you're in downtown Beijing, the air pollution is some of the worst on the planet. So again, it's all relevant and relative where you're at. So don't split hairs, and I wouldn't even worry your mind about inside or outside. If you feel like moving, just move. Make sure you do it safely. I mean, if you're heavy, if you're carrying 50 or 60 pounds more than you should be, remember your ankles and knees. All you need to do is slip on a piece of ice or slip and twist or tear a meniscus, and you're going to be laid up for probably several months because number one, if you're heavy and you've got some cardiovascular issues, the surgeon's going to be real apprehensive to go on there and surgically repair that meniscus for a couple reasons. Afraid you may have an event on the table. Number two, if you're that heavy, you're just going to re-injure that area again or worse. Yeah, so that's my concern. That's why I'm not in a big, you're on the Lean Body 360 program. Let's get you out exercising. No, let's get your emotional state set up so you can start going down different pathways than you have before. The self-loathing, all the emotional things that we talked about are way more important than joining a boot camp or go buying running shoes. I mean, that's just it's kind of like it doesn't make sense. Okay, and it won't help you. What will happen is it'll emotionally begin to sidetrack you and put you in a state where you just feel hopeless. Yeah, I feel better today. Thanks. I feel better. Yeah, it's just the end coming out of me, and I'm good for probably about a year or two now. So I was just inundated by too much virus and bacteria over like a 2-week period. Just every day I was around that. So plus I worked a lot and everything. So anyway, so one was don't weigh your foods. Number two, what was number two? Number two was exercise isn't the creme de la creme that we're taught it was. Number three, okay. Number three could easily be number one, so don't put them in order of preference. So number three is consistency. I know that sounds strange. I think digestive enzymes are great, and you should have enough to help digest. It depends on the food that you're eating. I call things like that exotic. So 3 is consistency. You need to be consistent. What I mean is, what can you do day in, day out? I don't weigh foods and exercises first. Yeah. You have to be consistent. So I would, and I was just talking to Doc Day that wants to, she's in the program, Dr. A. You have to get the basics and you just keep tightening them as much as you can tolerate. If 3 hours before bed, simple sugars is okay and you want to get leaner faster, go to 4 hours. Doesn't mean you don't eat. You just remove those simple sugars. So you can take the program, and once you have a good basic knowledge, and once you get past week 12, you have the basics down, then you can begin to massage that program to get as lean as you want to get. And I've had people get down to 4% from 25% in 12 to 14 weeks. Granted, these are like fitness people and health gurus from a training standpoint, but same principles hold true for people who are obese. If you don't get basics, yeah. And then once you deviate from basics, you know exactly what to do and what not to do. Your goal is 10%. Yeah, that's a little low, Lucretia. For women, you guys look really great. Your lines come out between about 11 and 14%. Well, that's what people know, Hio. People know diet. So you have to catch them with the wording, then you turn them around. So Lucretia, I think shoot for 15. Once women get to about 11%, their menstrual cycles stop. Oh, you want to lose 10% more? Ah, okay. So that'll put you at about 20. Yeah, between 18 and 22 for women, 23. That's an excellent. Once you start getting below 18 to 15, that's when you have to go up a notch. Your goal is 24. Ah, that's a piece of cake. You're going to hit that goal and you're going to want to go past it. You watch. That's right. But you have to remember who you're speaking to. And this is what I mentioned on the call, on the coaching call yesterday. A lot of you people going through the program that are 8, 10, 12 weeks into it, your knowledge is blossomed to the point where this language, lean body support, protein intake per lean body mass, is just kind of like regurgitated for you. It's like no big deal. But to the average person, we might as well be talking about Martians on the moon, for heaven's sakes. So just realize that when you if someone asks you about it, realize that they don't have nearly the knowledge base that you have. And I mean, some professionals based on my perception over the last several months of teaching, when it comes to lean body mass and things, they're writing down calculations just like you guys are. Unless you do this as a specific item in your practice sphere of practice, there's so many different nuances that you can get drawn into, but you research them. You go through different pathways. This is the one that makes sense. So the one in the Lean Body 360 program is designed to work as effective as possible with the least amount of effort. Yeah, she looks great. Hey, doll, thanks for joining. So that was the 3. I'm going to recap them again, then I'll open the scope to any questions that you have. If I can answer, I'd be more than happy. What was dinner? Tonight, dinner was a vegan quinoa burrito, 3 apples, and a whey protein shake. I know, kind of boring, but my wife and daughter are in Hilo. She must be busy because she hasn't gotten on my scope tonight. And I'm here pretty much for the rest of the month, just working and being alone. Catching up with my work is what I'm doing. So rehash. So number 1 was what? Who was paying attention? If you had on a white collar, you would look like you guys are funny. It's a little cold. I went in and exercised a little bit and I just came back. So sorry. No, yeah, exercise is not what we've been taught. Number 2 is what? No, I'm sorry. Number 1 was don't measure, don't weigh. Number 2 is exercise. And number 3 is be consistent. That's, that can be consistent can easily be number 1. The problem with be consistent is if you're being consistent with incorrect information, you're going to be in worse shape. The exercise initially out of the gate is not that important. How many people do we see that seem to go to the gym every, day or, several times a week, and they're heavy, but their bodies don't change much. So they're inflicting that trauma that I talked about, but they're going into catabolism, so their body's actually going backwards, not forwards. And, most people think that, well, it's commonplace. Well, the harder I work, the faster I'll get there. We know that's not true. Okay. You know what to do as long as it's not impactful. Step it up. It's all, it's all in your grasp. Exactly. I've lost 48 pounds, not hardly any exercise at all. Yeah. Again, more vegetables and grains, less everything else. I would even limit the, reduce grains. So adding buckwheat, which is a non-grain, We're finding grains in some people can cause some real gastrointestinal havoc. No, yeah, you know, and there's a reason why, you know, I get flack from the kettlebell people. You know, got to remember when kettlebells came out, they didn't have TheraBands and cables and low position impact exercises. What I mean by that is, in order to get the exercise or the apparatus into effective range for exercise, that range is where the most injuries occur. It does, Doc. I can approve that statement. Yeah. So how do I'm meeting my protein intake if I do not measure or weigh? Well, you have to. I mean, other than that, you're just guessing. And I don't like to guess. So that's why you have to get your weight, your body fat percentage, and then you calculate your lean body mass. I mean, it's like I'm a drill sergeant in the program. I mean, you guys get that just like every coaching call. Why is Truvia bad? Well, Truvia, I believe it is stevia and erythritol. It's not that it's bad, it's just not pure stevia. So if you have a insulin reaction to it, you may not, but I've had people have insulin reactions to alcohol. All of a sudden now in your mind, oh, stevia is bad, but you're not taking pure stevia, you're taking something that's tainted. So if you have a choice, just take stevia. There's no calories at all. Get your numbers, people, if it has sugar. Yeah. So again, don't be fooled. Unfortunately, you have to read the labels. And if you don't want to wear reading glasses, get one of those credit card magnifiers because they can get pretty small, and just take a look. Lily, that was part of what I was telling. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. You'll see stuff like that usually at places like Walmart and Target. Remember, they're targeting what's trending. Oh, stevia is trending, so they'll throw some in a bag with some sugar, and people will be fooled. It's just for the sweet leaf. Yeah, Sweet Leaf is probably the best. They've been on the market the longest, and they were one of the first companies that were licensed to sell the stevia product, and they've been around for decades. Remember, when stevia, first came out, it was forced to be sold as a food coloring because they wouldn't allow it to be a sugar substitute, even though it's one of the best ones on the planet. So there's politics and red tape at work, unfortunately. And who suffers are people like you and I and the store owners. But we're slowly coming out of the dark ages. And chronic illness is what's pulling us out of the dark ages because we're seeing the negative benefits of that long term. It can be, and now they've got different flavors. I mean, you could get a wide variety of flavors. I just like the plain. I'm a real simple kind of a guy. Virgil Zero Cream Soda, see? That to me, that's partying. Doc, that was Lee asking about weighing and measuring. Great, yeah. I don't know if she have a regular scale, you can use a regular scale, but just follow that script and figure out those numbers. If you don't know, really, ask in the group, Facebook group. We're going to get a calculator soon, but there's so many bizarre body fat calculators out there. I don't want to further confuse you guys. Just your weight, your body fat percentage, then you'll get your lean body mass, and then I'll give you the numbers to support that. And then if you do it protein every day, then we go on to the next hurdle. Can you tell her about 15 grams of your oh, so since you don't weigh or anything, you can look at your hand. So if we get a piece of meat or a piece of chicken about the size of this hand, it's about anywhere from 12 to 16 grams of protein, give or take. So a fist is about the same. So depending on if you're eating, ground beef or ground chicken or eggs, that's an egg is 7, pretty accurate. And then when you use your hand as a tool, you don't have to worry about bringing anything because your hands are, pretty much with you. And then after a while, you'll start getting in the swing of things and you'll start stepping up as far as from basic knowledge. That's why those new people that are watching me on the scope that came into the program this week, wait at least a week before you use your coaching call with me, because you're going to get a lot of the answers in the emails and at least one coaching call. And then when you do schedule your one-on-one with me, you'll have questions that you were like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't ask that. So you pretty much waste your call by asking basic questions that you can get answered in the Facebook group. Yeah, use the group. People are happy. People like Amy and Lucretia, they share all the time. You guys have to understand when people share knowledge, even me, it's fulfilling to be able to help someone. So everyone wants to help someone. Most people do. And everyone wants to be helped in a kind way. And that's what we're all about. Yeah, just a fist and a palm. If it fits in here, you're looking at about 13 to 15 grams. Average fist. Now, Amy, and people who are really heavy, a lot of that is water weight and layers of fat. Be reasonable with that. Maybe, take 3 or 4 grams off. Because and for those of you guys, Amy, you should be experiencing this already with all the weight that you've lost. You probably have a different shoe size now, at least one size less. Ring sizes. For you ladies that are married that have a wedding ring, by about your 4th week, I would take it off and put it somewhere, because if it, I've had patients lose their wedding rings because of all the weight that they've lost. I've seen a woman say she's got cancer and she said she has carrot juice every day. Okay. But see, that particular lady, my heart goes out to her. But what did she do for the prior 20 or 30 years? How did she conduct her lifestyle? Because remember, with obesity or, chronic illnesses like diabetes, we don't wake up, we don't go to bed on a Friday, have a fun weekend, and wake up on Monday and we have all these conditions. This is a progressive problem. They may have been realized through laboratory testing that they were there, but they were there years, sometimes decades before they're found festering just under the surface. So with chronic illnesses, you want to look at what the person done the prior decade or two, which is an accumulation of where they're at today. So, if you're 30 just starting this work, you're going to be a reflection of what you did in your 30s when you're 40. This thing passed. I'm just feeling guilty for a pass. You just have to get past it. Why her doctor does not tell her about sugar, especially, you have to ask the doctor. Okay, acid alkaline, sure. So there's a good book by the way. It's if you go to georgekosmides.com and go to tools, I have it's actually free. I think the ebook is free on Amazon. It's by Hurrah. It's a red and blue book that says acid alkaline. Here's the bottom line on acid alkaline. Abnormal cell growth, you can call it cancer, viruses and bacteria need 2 main things in order to proliferate or in order to grow. They need an acidic environment and they need to have anaerobic activity. That means void of oxygen. Okay? Healthy cells need the opposite. They need an alkaline environment and they need anaerobic, oxygen-based environment. So the whole idea, the premise, if we were to put down what's the bottom line, the more alkaline food aspects we add to our diet, the more we begin to tip the scale toward an alkaline pH and anaerobic activity. So we never stay in the middle. The body's either leaning one way or the other. So when we eat high acidic foods, drink lots of coffee, a lot of processed foods, we start tipping toward that acidic element. And combined with maturing can predispose us to disease processes. That's probably the easiest way I can explain it. Now, what I see a lot of people doing, and again, it's a good intent, but they're going to get poor rewards, is they go out and spend $2,000 on a water machine and they eat fast food 3 times a week to save money. You got to get your fundamentals correct. Okay, there's nothing wrong with alkaline water. Don't misunderstand me. But drinking alkaline water without readjusting your lifestyle is kind of like taking a shower and wearing dirty clothes all day. I don't know a proper analogy for that, but it's a right intent. You want to alkalinize your body. I totally get that you want to do that, but the water aspect is one cog in the wheel. It's not going to fix the whole ball of wax. Thank you, Amy. And for someone that asked about, I forgot what they asked about. Anyway, hopefully that helped on acid alkaline. Just again, it's all about going back to being reasonable and consistent. So the Lean Body 360 program, is it alkaline based? Yes, but remember, protein is acid based. So that's why you want to eat the cleanest protein possible, isolated way, that's the highest biological value, and you want to, alkalinize your diet at the same time. So it's a fine balance. But you have to eat your protein intake, and it's an acidic food because it's based in amino acids. So it's not like you cannot say I only eat alkaline. That means you're not eating any acid-based foods, which a good portion of them contain protein. So you see, you have to really watch what people say. I know what they're trying to say, but it's not accurate. I loved how you said last night this apple cider is going to. Yeah, I had 2 bottles of that. It didn't cure me, but it's going to help my digestive tract, and that's where our immune system lives. So it's a support. It's kind of like, and are you giving? What is portion protein? I'm not following that question. Portioned in measured? I'm not following that. Well, it's based on the lean body mass. I don't know if that young lady was in our program, but it's all based on what your lean body mass is. So there's only a few people on this call, but a few of them are on the program, I'm sure. Ladies, and if there's men on here too, please throw up your protein intake numbers for the people who get an idea. So when you see these numbers come on the screen, that person is eating the correct amount of protein per gram for their particular lean body mass. And everything kind of stems off of that number. And that number will change a weekly to 10 days. And again, it's not about how much you weigh. It's about what your lean body mass is. That's the crux of any weight loss program has to support that number. Because if you don't support that number, what will happen is your existing muscle mass under all that fat will begin to break down because you're not supporting it. Yes, not much to make an acidic, but that's correct. Yeah, it's much easier to be acidic in this day and age, eating-wise, than it is to be alkaline. That's right. And as you exercise more, as you do more, as you move more, as you get lighter and your body fat drops, but your muscle mass increases, even though this is going to sound strange to people, but what happens is you're dropping your body fat, you're dropping your weight, but you're increasing your muscle mass. That's the whole goal of any program. NutriSwistons, Weight Watchers, it doesn't matter. If a program can do that, that's really using its noodle. And that's what I've tried to put together in the Lean Body 360 that's doable for the average person. Not a scientist, not a fitness buff, but the average, my auntie down the street who gained 50 pounds, she doesn't know how, she wants to lose it. This is the easiest program to do that, because once you get the basics down and those numbers, your lean body mass support number and the water, once you get those basic numbers down, you have some ideas of low and high glycemic foods. Oh, the world is your oyster. Yeah, it's actually called skinny fat. It was first, I guess, coined here in LA. And we're talking about young kids, usually women, unfortunately, 130 pounds, but their body fat's 50%, 55%. So they're basically, their lean body mass is like 65, 70 pounds. I mean, it's just atrocious. And they don't realize metabolically what's in store for them as they mature. They will probably end up, morbidly obese within, 2 decades, because the body will just, once it starts getting food and that phase is past, it'll overeat to compensate. Because remember, the body is very, I don't understand that acronym. You give me too much credit. The body is very primitive. If we don't eat for a while, it will turn our thermostat down. See, I knew a lot, but not what is healthy. Right. And what will happen is when you start it's called actually, this was found in World War II. They don't understand why during World War II in Russia, German soldiers were dying by the hundreds, and they couldn't understand why. And they sent a scientist in, and they found that when they were starving and they got access to food, they ate so much, it was called refeeding syndrome, that their liver actually dysfunctioned, and they died of in most cases, liver failure or cardiovascular failure. Oh, thin outside fat. Oh, okay, thank you. Portion control is not the way. Yeah. So that was coined refeeding syndrome. So your body is, and that's an extreme example, but that's what happens when your body goes from calorie deprivation or, you know, some vanity quest, and then you go back to your old bad habits, you'll just balloon up. Fix it, need my thermostat turned down. Well, if you have hot flashes and things, remember, the body will raise temperatures for a number of reasons. Infection, trying to move water or hydrate different areas of the body, and some hormonal imbalances. Now, don't always assume that you're going into menopause. There can be some nutritional or lifestyle related components that can influence and accelerate that process, which is totally abnormal. So don't always assume that I need to take something to turn me down. What I want you thinking of, what can I do to balance my physiology? Well, you're losing a lot of your insulation, and your system is totally changing. So there could be several reasons. Plus, you live in, I mean, you're in Alabama. It's, what is it, 10 degrees out there? I mean, Jesus, I'm cold just thinking about that. I mean, you get 40 degrees here, and I'm like disappointed. So I hope that helped. And it's all about being mindful. And I was on a blab today with a psychologist. Eventually you will. Just remember, nothing works like this. Yeah, it's 14. I mean, that's ridiculous. Holy smokes. And there's a direct link. We don't know what's temperature related between obesity and areas. For years, this was the case. Areas that were had very severe winters because of the cold. They wouldn't move much. But we're finding out now with places like Hawaii and outlying islands, obesity is like 74% of the adult population. So that doesn't hold water anymore either. Great questions. I have some of the smartest people on Scopes. I just want you to think. You don't have to get on my program or follow what I say. I'm just here to provoke thought so you can think. So the next time that you meet with your doctor or you have a discussion about, moving forward with your health or something, you can step back and say, okay, what are the key things I should focus on? And what you want to do is focus way out here. What do you want? And then work backwards. How many grams of protein per pound of lean body mass? That's the $64,000 question. There's several variables, and it can range from 0.3 to 1 gram. Depends on where you're at in that mix. You make us feel so good when you say excellent questions. Well, you guys do ask excellent questions. Understand that, and you're seeing it more and more. I just don't want you guys to get your feelings hurt. It's probably going to happen anyway when you know you want to help someone with the tools that you've learned, and you present your ideas, and you're pretty much shunned or actually asked to mind your own business or something like that. And it's tough. How do I get on your program? Go to leanbody360.com. Someone will post a link, hopefully. And by the way, crack that egg and put a picture in there. Go to Rice and Spam. Just ask Joanne. She's brilliant. Thank you. And again, it's the core of the program. The initial core is the fast track 12 weeks. But now we have memberships and other things that I'm going to be with you for months, depending. There's a few people in the program. They're probably going to be about a 2-year journey to lose the weight that they need to lose the body fat they need to lose. Remember, any plan can get you to drop weight. You can wear a plastic suit and drop 15, 20 pounds in a day. Do I recommend that? Absolutely not. Cardiovascularly, it could actually cause a stroke or worse. But if the goal is body fat and to get healthy, it's the most reasonable program that I've been able to come up with, and I've been at this 20 years. Thinking about the mothers with kids, people who work. Yeah, and that's Amy. That's her testimonial on the front page. So none of the people there are made up. They're all real patients. We're getting some more before and after pictures of the 12 weeks. So yeah, Amy's still over 300 pounds, but a doggone sight better than 350. And it's only going to get better. So then we have coaching calls every Monday morning that are recorded. And everything's constantly being upgraded. It's my goal is to have the best program on the planet that someone can take online or on their phone that makes sense. Yeah. And again, the same principles for anger, the same principles for a fitness model or a bodybuilder or somebody who wants to get 10%, the principles don't change. And when you're inside a program that they have all these varying principles, it begs to wonder, what physiological premises are they using to formulate that program? Calorie counting? Yeah, I guess if you restrict calories, but aren't you concerned about supporting lean muscle mass, or, the questions that just pop up? Yeah, Amy, yeah. And we also address the emotional component. If you're heavy, chronic health problems, you have an emotional component that's supporting and driving that. And this is going to sound strange, but some people get actually emotional benefit from having a disease that they can lean back on. Oh, my parents were obese, so I'm going to be obese, or I've got whatever chronic bladder infections because my mother had them. I mean, all these things we end up talking ourselves into, and a lot of cases they're actually inaccurate. They're not physiologically possible. So when you hear someone use the term genetic, I would say 98% of the time it's not accurate, because they're just assuming that because it was in their lifestyle or it was a family history. Doesn't mean if there's a genetic link. Family history could mean that's what they were taught to eat. Like I say, all my scopes practically, I was raised in a house with a Folgers coffee can on the stove, and all the grease, bacon grease or whatever, got dumped in that can, and that's what was used to grease the pan. So, now I lost my two uncles and father to cardiovascular disease secondary to diabetes, but does that mean I'm genetically linked to that? Doesn't mean that at all. Finding out how good food can taste when you are eating clean and how satisfied you feel. That's right. Are you on the program? I'm sorry, because I know the names of people that are on the program, but then I see the handles in Periscope. I have a hard time linking them. Hey, Jared, thanks for coming on board. I just want you guys to think, and pretty soon it'll just become second nature. It'll just start happening. Yes, okay, first week. Okay, great. Yeah, if you haven't gotten the coaching call, the next coaching call is Monday. Listen to, at least last week. Listen to, access whatever you can access before taking that one-on-one with me. It'll save you so much time. And then you'll ask hard questions that are your particular circumstance. I had one lady, she wants to get pregnant next year, so she has a game plan. That's great. She's going to have, I'm going to help her to be as healthy as possible through the program. I think she has to drop like 70 pounds. So see, she's forward thinking. But now she says, I want 2017, I want to conceive. Okay, great. It's not, that's a reasonable 1 year to drop 70 pounds. That's pretty reasonable in probably about 15% body fat. That's reasonable. Yeah, and it's going to give me more. We're actually going to we're going to make some screen shares so I can walk you through some members area. We're going to make just some audios that come up that I think I need to add. The program is just going to get more and more supportive and practical. And you guys are what guides me. What you guys tell me in the periscopes and direct message me what you need, that's how I construct the program. Oh, well, listen, I was on for the first 10 minutes this AM, then I had to make an appointment. Oh, no problem. Yeah, no problem. These tools you'll have for life. You'll have them for life. So it's not something that you got, I do recommend some products, but again, most bang for the minimum time and expense, that's my whole goal. And if I find a product better, that one gets bumped and this one goes in. I have allegiance to quality, not to economics. Anything else I wanted to talk about tonight? How is ASIF going to know? How is ASIF going? Do you know? Yeah, ASIF's doing really well. I mean, he's. I think he gained a few pounds. He knocked it right off. Yeah. So no, he's doing really well. Changed his lab work. I mean, the thing is, now with ASIF knows, he can do whatever, he can conduct himself however he wants. That's why you'll never see me chastise anyone in the group. Oh, you cheated. Oh, you did this. Hey, wait a minute. If you understand the basic fundamentals, and if you've gone through the first 12 weeks, you understand the basics, and you make different choices, I'm still going to love you. That's the choice that you made. It's not like you didn't know, you see? Yeah, go slow and then go fast. That's exactly it. But so it's never about right or wrong. It's not fair to put people in a place, and unfortunately some professionals do that. Well, just lose weight or just diet. Those terms are so arbitrary. But once you know the specifics that we teach in the program and then I kind of drill into you that you own, those just become commonplace, and they're no longer a thought process. They're just instinctive, and that's how you want it to be. And then your family and everything benefits by your knowledge. So believe me, there's so much information out there. There's so much that I cut out. So I'm giving you the things that I give you the most benefit, the most, and then it's going to trickle down from there. Because who has time to do everything? I'll be on for a few more minutes. Any more hard medical questions, if I can answer them, I'll answer honestly. If I can't, I'll tell you that, that's not my field of expertise. I think someone the other night was asking me about prostate problems, and he said I sound like a good proctologist or something like that. That was kind of funny. You should have if you're going to practice medicine, you should have general knowledge of all practitioners, so you can at least know, hey, look, you need to go see, XYZ, person for that issue and get checked. Yeah, you remember that, right? Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, I think I gave him something to think about. But yeah, I'm never a rogue. If what you're doing, whether it's a Lean Body 360 program or something else, is truly a functional program, you'll see it in your laboratory results. You won't have to hide or not show up at your primary's office. That's ridiculous. If your work is solid, it should show up in your lab work. And that's what's going to get you respect with that office and give you a sense of empowerment. I mean, ask Lucretia. I know when you get those types of response from your doctor, they're floored because you know what? You did it. Yeah, with some help from my work. That's fine. But you had to put those action steps into place, not me. I can give you people can give you the best advice, but if you don't apply it, it could rather been no advice at all. So people like Lucretia, good night. She just floored them. Asif just floored them. I mean, he was so excited he recorded his office visit. And if you want to do that, ask him, say, hey, can I record my visit? It's your office visit. I get that all the time. And I don't know why a doctor would be apprehensive to record his visit. Some are. I don't know why they would be apprehensive about that. So, hey, Shy Blues, thanks for joining. So just general health questions in general, I can answer a few and at least give you some things to kind of think about. This is my latest book, Life Without Diabetes. I lost my father and 2 uncles to the process. It has a similar 90-day meal plan that's in my Lean Body program. Lean Body is a little bit more slanted toward fat metabolism. And this is just, it's fun for me. It's fun to see that we can change people's lives. So thanks, guys, for joining me tonight. I'm Dr. George Kosmides. I still need to order that book. I think we lowered the price now, so it's on Creative Space. So just go to Creative Space. But I think we changed some things. So, but yeah, I haven't been focusing on books or anything like that. I've been focusing on the program because there's still some things we have to add there. So, thanks so much, guys. Thank you. Have a very good night. Happy holidays. Stay warm. And I'm Dr. George Kosmides. I'm in your corner. And bye-bye.